Round 2 of the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Series would head north to the home of the M Sport World Rally Team for the Malcolm Wilson Rally. And it would be round 1 winner Stephen Petch leading our championship contenders into the famous Lake District stages this weekend. And indeed, out on those stages it would be Stephen Petch with Michael Wilkinson alongside taking the early lead. They make a good start to take a 14-second advantage by the end of the first 4 stages of the day. Second place behind them would be Russ Thompson and Andy Murphy, leading the B13 class and pushing that Evo well. Those changes to the car for this season really seem to be working as planned. It wasn't good news for everyone though. We lose Charlie Payne and Patrick Walsh. They put the car off the road in the 4th stage of the morning after lying in 3rd place overall. A bit of early drama then would mean the final step on the podium this morning would go to Rory Young and Alan Carruthers. 11 seconds back from Thompson and Murphy in that Evo up ahead, but with a close fight on their hands to keep that podium place in check. And in order to do so, they'd be looking in their mirrors and chased down by Tom Preston and Carl Williamson. Just 3 seconds back from the pair up ahead, no doubt ready to make a push as the stages move down to the infamous Grisdale Forest. For Dylan Davies and Cleon Williams, it would be 5th place at this stage. They could have been a little higher had it not been for a few untidy moments, shall we say, along the way, spinning the car on the 2nd stage of the morning, thankfully with plenty of room to get things pointing in the right direction again. And leading the NR4 class at this stage would be Scott Faulkner and Steve Link. As always, it would be a close battle, but for this morning at least, they were in the lead and in 6th place overall. The gap between the top of that class would be 10 seconds, and it would be Pat Naylor and Ian Lawrence hard charging and chasing them down. Those times could have been a little closer, but for a puncture in the 2nd stage of the day, slowing them down a little. And after a frustrating start to the season, things were certainly not going to plan for George Lepley and Tom Woodburn. They get a puncture on the opening stage as well as bent suspension, calling it a day before the afternoon stages had begun. Things were also going pretty badly for Martin and Dawn England as well. They have a bit of a moment in the 2nd stage of the day, spinning the car into a big rock. The damage looked to be minimal, but they'd crushed the exhaust in the process. They do get to the end of the morning though with 9th place, with some repairs to do. And rounding out the top 10 would be our leading Silver Star crew of Andy Davison and Tom Murphy. Another great start for the pair, who were just 13 seconds back from England up ahead. And just outside the top of our leaderboard, it would be 3rd in the B13 class for Max Bradshaw and Daniel Hurst. The Max driver with limited miles under his belt, but going well on these unfamiliar and formidable stages. So with the morning complete, the results at the top of our leaderboard here at the 2nd round of the series look like this. On to the afternoon stages then, and there'd be some change in the B13 class. We lose Manxman Max Bradshaw, replaced in that 3rd position by Ian Tippett and Ian Jackson. There'd also be change ahead of them in 2nd place as well. Steve Allman-Smith and Simon Jones taking that position despite a few little moments along the way in the Grisdale stage. And so we move on to our top 10 after a pretty dramatic morning. There'd be no change though in that 10th place. Andy Davison and Tom Murphy still rounding out the top 10 overall. Sadly for them, not leading the way in the Silver Star, but some good pace and some points on the board. The honour of the Silver Star lead though would now belong to Ben Friend and Cliffy Simmons. Finally seeing things go their way, they end the event with 9th place on the overall leaderboard. Martin and Dawn England, meanwhile, get the car sorted and back out for the afternoon after those problems with the exhaust and the rock. They looked like nothing had happened. They also looked like nothing would stop them. They end the day with 8th place overall. It had been a pretty rubbish day for Pat Naylor and Ian Lawrence. Those morning problems haunting them into the afternoon as well. A puncture once again would see them lose any time that they'd managed to gain back, ending the rally with 7th place overall, bit of damage limitation with 2nd in the NR4 class. And there's frustration as well for Tom Preston and Carl Williamson. A slip down the results in the afternoon sees them end the rally with 6th place on the leaderboard. The times were still good, and it was a close fight to the finish for what that is worth. Finishing just ahead of Preston would be Scott Faulkner and Steve Link. A great end to the second round of the championship for the pair as they take the NR4 class victory and a great 5th place overall. For Rory Young and Alan Cathers, it would be 4th. They miss out on the podium place by 12 seconds. A good finish for the pair though, nonetheless. And with no more mistakes chalked up, it would be a clean run to the finish for Dylan Davies and Cleon Williams. They climb up as high as the podium places to take 3rd place overall this weekend. And there's no change for Russ Thompson and Andy Murphy. Clearly, the pair trying hard in that Evo. Keeping hold of their 2nd place this weekend, a strong finish and another strong result, putting them 2nd in the championship standings after 2 rounds. But taking victory this weekend, and well deserved, will be Stephen Petch and Michael Wilkinson, keeping their nose clean. A good run for the pair, taking the victory by 27 seconds by the end of the rally. So we've arrived at the end of the 2nd round of the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Series. The final results of the Malcolm Wilson Rally look like this. Silver Star and the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Series, as always, would be a close battle on the stages, with round 1 winners Andy Davison and Tom Murphy starting out as they meant to go on with the lead here at round 2, the Malcolm Wilson Rally. It will be close though, only 3 seconds the advantage. That all important at this stage, 2nd place will belong to Rob Wright and Mark Fisher. The first rally for the pair with the new 2.5 litre Duratec engine, and that meant way more power and able to push for that top spot right from the off. Getting in on the fight for that top spot will be Ben Friend and Cliffy Simmons. 3rd place for now, a few seconds behind those ahead, but it was still all to play for in the afternoon, and we were looking forward to that battle. For Nick Dobson and Jonathan Turnbull, it would be 4th, the pair lying 2nd in B11 with those results in the stage as well. And leading the way in the R2 Cup will be Ewan Tyndall and Andrew Ruffhead. The 2nd rally on gravel in the R2 for the pair, and clearly they were not holding back. 5th place overall at this stage as well after a character building first round. Another pair of our competitors not holding back would be Tony Simpson and Ian Bevan, even taking the front corner of the bumper off on this corner with an aggressive approach. They end the morning with 6th place overall, 2nd in our R2 Cup. And 3rd in that class would go to another young driver, Elliot Payne, with Michael Gilby alongside. After retiring on the previous round, they will be looking to get some points on the board here this weekend, and things were looking good for that mission so far. For Fraser Anderson and Sinclair Young, it will be 8th place in the Silver Star. The Fiesta pair just 11 seconds back from Payne up ahead. And they would actually be on an identical time to this man, Zach Hughes. Ian Beaumont alongside, Zach suffering a little with the car running a little worse than it should be. But at least they were on their wheels this time out, unlike last time. Fair play to Zach for getting the car fixed and back out to compete at round 2. Rounding out the top 10 at this stage will be Bobby Mitchell and Paul Gribben, leading the way in the N3 class, as well as rounding out the top of our Silver Star leaderboard. But things were not going to plan for Mike Wolf and Mark Twiname. They would retire in the 4th stage of the day with gearbox issues, seeing them sidelined, a disappointing end to their home rally here at the Malcolm Wilson. Let's take a quick look then at some of the class positions outside at the top of our leaderboard. And it would be Steve Ward and Mike Crawford taking 2nd place in the H3 class at this stage, as well as 13th place overall. For Johnny Sproat and Peter Johnson, it would be 2nd in the N3 class for the morning. They'd had around a minute to go if they wanted to catch the class leader, but for now, they were solid and happy with where they were. 3rd in that class would be Callum Hughes and Ryan Griffiths. 12 seconds the difference to the similar car up ahead, but they didn't have too many stages left to try and turn that result around. Would they be able to do it? And rounding out the class results would be Dan Chester and Stephen Davey, 2nd place in the B12 class and lying in 18th overall. The morning not without its close calls. So with the morning stages complete here at the Malcolm Wilson Rally, the leaderboard at the top of the Silver Star is starting to shape up. It looks a bit like this. On we go then to the afternoon stages, and there'd be some change in our results. Bobby Mitchell and Paul Gribben slipping down the order from the lead of the N3 class, having to settle for a 3rd place finish. For Callum Hughes and Ryan Griffiths, it would be a 2nd place in that N3 class, enjoying the grip on the final run through the Greystoke stage, meaning a last-minute push up those results. But taking the N3 class victory this weekend would be Johnny Sproat and Peter Johnson. They take the class win as well as 12th overall in that Fiesta. It is safe to say that this weekend, well, it wasn't the best for Rob Wilson and Martin Haggett. A puncture in the morning would be followed by gearbox problems and a rear wheel locking on. And as if that wasn't all enough to contend with, a broken wishbone was causing them some interesting handling, shall we say. But they do make it through to the finish, and with 11th place as well. Zach Hughes and Ian Beaumont would move down a place in the afternoon to round out the top 10 now. Some time spent getting out of a ditch would be the reason for their time lost. And Steve Ward and Mike Crawford would move up our results and into 9th place, the pair taking 2nd in the H3 class as well with that result. Matthew and Tim toured off, meanwhile, gain a couple of places on our overall leaderboard, ending the rally with 8th, a good finish for the pair in the Fiesta. And with the car patched up with plenty of white tape, it will be a 7th place end to the rally for Tony Simpson and Ian Bevan. They do slip down the results a little in the class to take 3rd in the R2 Cup. Still a strong showing and a blooming good result. There's frustration though for Ewan Tyndall and Andrew Ruffhead. They also slipped down the order. Things had gone well all day, but they just miss out on the class win by the finish. It does give them 2nd in the R2 Cup, both this weekend and in the championship standings so far. Nick Dobson and Jonathan Turnbull, meanwhile, make a good start to their season by securing 2nd in B11 this weekend, as well as ending the rally with 5th place overall in the Escort. And after their disappointing non-finish on the opening round of the championship, it would be a solid end to this weekend for Elliot Payne and Michael Gilby. They take the R2 Cup victory, as well as sitting just outside the podium positions with 4th overall. We move on to those podium positions then after a hard-fought day, and there'd be change all round. Rob Wright and Mark Fisher slipping down a place to take 3rd. A good weekend though in the new car, and a good result on their home rally. So close, in fact, that the car was driven to and from the event. For early leaders Andy Davison and Tom Murphy, it would be 2nd place to end the event this weekend. That slip back from the rally lead would still make them happy with their result, even if they were ruining times in the day when their pace could have been stronger. Their lead in the championship not affected at this stage though in the season. But taking the victory this weekend would be Ben Friend and Cliffy Simmons. Back on track, things seemed to be going the right way for the pair now. Maximum points this weekend, enabling them to start their climb up the overall standings after the 2nd round. So confirmation then of the Silver Star results here at the second round of the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Series, the Malcolm Wilson Rally. Bronze star in the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Series wasn't short of competitive crews in 2020, none more so than round one winners Chris Powell and Jim Lewis. Back again here at the Malcolm Wilson Rally for round two and looking to repeat that victory. Things were going well so far as well, with a 47-second lead in the category after 4 stages. That lead would be over Richard Jordan and James Grattan-Smith, last year's championship winning car, meaning that they had a lot to live up to, and so far they were not disappointing, ensuring that our leaders don't get too far ahead. Nigel and Karen Jenkins are back in the BTRDA after a long break away, and boy is it good to see them back. Things going well for the Nova pair. They lie in third, 32 seconds back from Jordan. Clearly they have lost nothing of the pace and the character that we loved of this Nova pair. For Richard Garnett and Rob Gillam, it will be 4th place for now. They were pushing hard in that micro. Only 1400 C-Class runners as well this weekend, so they had it all to play for. And rounding out the small but quality Bronze Star entry would be Aaron Ricks and Rob Cook. The Escort pair probably not as high up as they would have liked given the entry, but they had the afternoon to try and change that around. Let's take a look at the Rally First category then. It will be Simon Double and Jessica Mitchell leading the way with a good advantage. That position safe as long as they made it through the rally. Second place in Rally First belonging to Joseph Keane and Paul Barbett. This was the first time out on gravel for the pair since their big accident on the Woodpecker last year, which you may remember, so they would need to build up the confidence and pull their socks up for the afternoon running of the stages. So with the morning complete, the results in the Bronze Star here on the Malcolm Wilson Rally are starting to shape up like this. On to the afternoon stages then, and things will stay the same in Rally First. Joseph Keane and Paul Barbett taking that second place, and that of course meaning it's victory for Simon Double and Jessica Mitchell. A good advantage by the finish, making up for a disappointing opening round in Wales. On to the Bronze Star overall results then. It will be 4th for Richard Garnett and Rob Gillam, dropping back a position on our overall results in the afternoon. Aaron Ricks and Rob Cook will be happy they managed to gain a position on the results, meaning it's 3rd place to end the rally for the pair. The points from this weekend actually seeing them leading the championship standings in the Bronze Star after round 2. There would, however, be lots of drama and a bit of change at the top of our leaderboard. Chris Powell and Jim Lewis crashing out, meaning that the remaining crews will be forced to compete the stage non-competitive. But the results would be final. Nigel and Karen Jenkins would end the event with 2nd place, while Richard Jordan and James Grattan-Smith would take victory here on the Malcolm Wilson Rally. Not how anyone wants to take the silverware, but a victory and points on the board nonetheless it is. So with the second round of the MRF BTRDA Rally Series complete, the results in the Bronze Star for 1400 cars look like this.